Greetings and happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to one and to all. Perhaps it is Thursday. So, again, greetings to those who may pop in and those who may catch the replay. This is just going to be a quick update on the latest in reference to the Georgia Senate hearing. But before I begin, let me present to you the Fair Use Act disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, which states allowance is made for fair use of copyrighted material for purposes of commentary, criticism, news reporting, research, education, teaching, and/or scholarship. It provides for the legal, non-licensed citation and/or incorporation of copyrighted material by others, which might be infringing under other circumstances. So now that I have that particular out the way, the biggest news, or what many people are calling bombshells or shocking news, is apparently DA FANI Willis met with Vice President Kamala Harris before, and let me repeat that, before indicting former President Donald Trump, which was disclosed today during the Georgia Senate hearing. And I'll be going over some of that for those of you who may not have had the opportunity to view it. It was quite lengthy, and I will not be going over the entire hearing, but just some bits and pieces. Further, Attorney Ashley Merchant, who is actually the attorney for Mr. Rowan, one of Donald Trump's co-defendants in this case, showed the committee that the White House records detailed that FANI Willis, the DA of Fulton County, met on February the 28th in 2023 before indicting Donald Trump and 18 others in August for allegedly interfering with the 2020 presidential election result in Georgia. I repeat, on February 28, 2023, Attorney Ashley Merchant showed a committee the White House records that detailed that DA FANI Willis of Fulton County, Georgia, met with Vice President Kamala Harris. Hey there, Six Bows. How are you? And let me go ahead and drop this in the event anyone has any comments they would like to add. Just be respectful. Hi there, twin. How are you? And if you decide to, let me see you in the chat so I won't have to block out anyone. You're working already, so it is Thursday for you then, twin. Well, happy Thursday. And be safe out. We're expecting rain. So as I was saying, there was a meeting. Good, Six Bows. Hey there, Dr. D. Long time. How are you? So thus far, are there any thoughts? And you can leave them in the comment section before, hey there, Marco, before I share this quick video. Any thoughts thus far on the discovery, if you will, of many people do Six Bows, others have their thoughts I'm with the latter. Actually, I don't know any of them personally, but, and this is just my opinion, the behavior to me is a bit much. But again, that's just my opinion. So thus far, hey there, all heart, grit, and grind. Your thoughts thus far that there was a meeting between DA Willis and Vice President Kamala Harris. And keep in mind, current President Joe Biden won the 2020 election, and Harris being the VP, of course. And Merchant, who is, again, Roman's attorney, said that the White House records showed that Willis had the meeting with Harris in the company of, hold on to your horses, Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens, who happens to be a Democrat. So let me roll that back again. Not only did Fulton County's DA FANI Willis, according to Discovery, meet with VP Kamala Harris, also meeting was Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens. And let me see what Six Bo has to say. Well, let me say, she quite a lady, if you ask me. And what I like about her, I don't know much about her. Okay, no worries. Again, a lot of people feel as though she is strong. Let me just say this so I'm clear. It takes a lot to come up through the ranks, and I have absolutely no qualms about her education and what she's done thus far. But as it relates to this particular case and some of the behavior that's been highlighted, and keep in mind, many people in public office has behavior that is questionable. That's where my ripple comes in. Hey there, Joy, how are you? Is it still Wednesday there for you? Or is it Thursday? It might be Thursday or it might be late for you, but thank you for stopping by. Truly appreciate it. So at this time, I'm going to attempt to share this because, or as some people say, StreamYard. A hard time. Again, this is fair use. And hopefully everyone will be able to see and hear this. And this is very short. Let me expand it. And again, this is the Georgia Senate hearing that occurred today. And I am trying to expand it. And once it gets
confirm whether or not Ms. Willis or Mr. Wade were coordinating with the Biden White House in the course of this investigation and prosecution?
I mean, the discovery, they've got, a lot of our discovery involves the January 6th. I mean, a lot of what we have in discovery is the same stuff that other places have. So they had to have gotten it from somewhere. And they also, they read a lot of the testimony. They played testimony in the special purpose grand jury. So, I don't know how they got all of that, but they got it somehow. And then, there's one of the other things I did was I did open records for the White House access, and we had records that Ms. Willis and the mayor of Atlanta were at meeting with the vice president.
Okay, and so this is the access history. How does that work? The White House keeps records of anybody that comes in and has any kind of official meeting for sure.
Yes, and my understanding is it's highly regulated who can access the White House, and so you have to apply in person or apply ahead of time, and then they give you a time when you make the appointment, and they give you a time when you're allowed to be in and when you have to be out by, and they track you. And I mean, that makes sense. They don't want anybody lingering in the White House, but they keep that. And so they're called WAVE records, I believe is what they're called, and I'm not sure what that's an acronym for, but they're publicly available. They're open records.
And this record that's shown on the screen shows FANI Willis was a visitor with V. POTUS. I presume that's Vice President of the United States.
Yes, it was.
And what was the date of that back in, was that February sometime or 23?
February 28, 2023.
Is that before the indictment?
Yes.
Okay. Any further explanation of why Ms. Willis was meeting with the Vice President of the United States?
No. I know Dexter Bonds, and I believe that's the same one that Mr. I think it's Dixon, the mayor of Atlanta, was also there.
Okay. We're going to take a short break. We've been going at this for a while. Let's take
All right, we are back. So, any thoughts on that snippet? And again, on that. And again, if I haven't said hi to Queen's Throne, greetings, Queen's Throne. How are you? Hey there, Vlad, Determined Hustle. How are you? So before I go to the stream, which again is extremely lengthy, and I will not be doing the entire stream, just bits and pieces. Hello there, Leonia. How are you? Your thoughts, and you can leave them in the comments. As to this, again, discovery that DA of Fulton County, FANI Willis, met with VP. I'm doing good. VP Kamala Harris. And again, the date was February the 28th of 2023. Any thoughts? I'll wait for a couple of moments and then I'll share the screen to the Georgia Senate. And you can actually leave your comments and I'll go back and check. Leonia said, doing laundry. I did laundry earlier. Okay. Let me go ahead and present the next screen. And again, this is just going to be a brief overview. And you are welcome to leave your comments in the comment section. Hey there, Denise Stewart. And Determined Hustle said, interesting, I'll say. And Denise is speaking. Awesome. Okay. I'll make sure I capture your comments momentarily. Okay, the very first part of this, and again, this is fair use and courtesy of 11 Alive, but it's streaming on many platforms, so you are welcome at your leisure to look at this. And as you can see right here, 5 hours and 9. No, Joe will not be doing that. The first portion of this is basically Ashley Merchants, who you see right here, who is going over her accolades and her experience. So I don't want to take up much time going with that. So she's going to go ahead and start with her discovery. And again, thank you to all that joined and those who may catch the replay.
Of the Criminal Defense Lawyers Group.
Yes, and it's the Georgia Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers. We go by GACDL. We have about 1,500 members right now. We're aiming to get around 2,000, but we're one of the largest defense bars in the country.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about your trial experience over these last 20 years.
So I started doing post-conviction work, which is, after a person is convicted, doing appeals and habeas work. Then I went into misdemeanor trial work at first when I was a public defender. I moved into the complex felony division, which is where the majority of my practice has lied. I do about half of my practice is appeals, appellate work in the Georgia Supreme Court and the Georgia Court of Appeals. The other half is trial work.
Okay, I'm going to advance this.
So for example, the county attorney, if they want to hire special counsel, okay, and pay them hourly, like in this case, they go and they get that approved at the county level. They actually appear in front of the county Board of Commissioners and say, we need to hire this person at this rate, and they approve the rate. They monitor the bills, they do all of that stuff. So that's what happens at the county attorney's office.
Okay, the county attorney represents the county, is not prosecuting criminals like the DA does.
Correct, it's civil. So the county attorney does all civil things. In this case, they actually did end up representing the DA in some of the open records issues, which is a whole nother issue. But so the county attorney, the civil body, they actually go and get county approval from the Board of Commissioners. And there's actually a resolution. So I think I attached as an example in one of my briefs, a copy of a resolution just to give as an example. I'm pretty sure I did. It's very transparent. They get it approved. Yeah, here it is. It's called a resolution, and it's a resolution authorizing funding for additional personnel. And basically, they go and they say, we need this for this project. We need this budgetary item, and it's approved. It comes out of their budget, though. So they're not going and asking for more money for the county attorney's budget. They're just asking to use the county money that they've already been allotted for this special counsel. The district attorney has taken a different position, and I was surprised. So I watched hundreds of hours of Board of County Commissioners meetings just to make sure that I wasn't missing anything, that she never went and asked for approval for any of these special prosecutors.
Her budget is granted through the Fulton County?
It is.
It's in part of its budget?
It is. These special prosecutors have been paid a couple different ways. They were paid with state seizure money.
Okay, right now she's talking about, and let me go ahead and recognize LSB Vlog and April Showers. How are you? Ashley Merchant is now speaking to the committee about how they go about with the funding for the special prosecution. So they're going to go in a little bit more, and we will see how. And because I've already seen some of this, but just some of the hours, which I found to be quite interesting. Again, thank you for those that have stopped by and those who may catch the replay. And let us continue with this. Again, fair use, and this is Ashley Merchant. And let me get back up.
File stamp copy back.
Here's one thing you need to do before you buy anything online.
My apologies.
Don't spend another dime on Amazon until you watch this first.
Watch this. I can show you how to get the sweetest deals online when you shop from major retailers like Amazon and
Back, but it's now been served. But it was filed on January 30th.
Of 2024.
2024. And I have a copy, which
I don't have that. If you would provide us with that, then we'll give it to the Secretary of the Senate as a supplemental response to the subpoena.
I'm happy to. This is a clean copy.
Okay.
Yes, so you all can.
So what's the
keep
relevance
this.
to you? Why did you seek these billing records of these attorneys?
I wanted to compare the different billing, the different styles of billing. Also, there had been an allegation that I was singling out Mr. Wade, and so I thought it was relevant to see the rates that the other attorneys were paid, their billing, what type of billing, if they billed for everything. Just for example, when we're in court, one of the prosecutors may be arguing, Mr. Floyd and Ms. Cross aren't there billing. But Mr. Wade is always there. So that was one thing that I noticed. And I understand now that their response is that he's sort of like a case manager almost. So I guess that would be why he's always there. But I wanted to compare them.
Okay, she kind of snuck that in while he's always there. So let's continue. And I'm going to be advancing this. As I said, this is a
Involvement in the case, as I recall, it began on November 1st of 21. So this would.
Hold on, let me go back just a little bit. There we go. Oh, no.
Corruption, that's the corruption. We're looking at election interference.
Yes, he's never worked on any other case.
All right. Let's see that other bill there, Senator Dolezal. All right, so here's another one, if you can see that okay. This is the one we put up earlier. It looks to be much more specific date-wise anyway than just, those 24-hour chunks like that. Okay.
Right.
Okay, so were you all able to hear that? 24 hours. So according to this, it appears that billing was done for 24 hours work. So let me go back just a little bit. $8 hours at $250 on 11/3/2021, and right here, can everyone see this? The date of 11/5/2021. Now, I know that I'm old. I'm 55 years old, proud to be 55, and my eyes, even though they're big and bright, they don't see as well as they used to. 24 hours at $250, a whopping $6,000. Hey there, Hoodie, how are you? You're welcome, Queen's Throne. I'm gonna pass the baton to you because I'm getting tired. No, I've got to get up early. I may have a blessing that I'll share tomorrow. We'll see how everything goes. I just wanted to go over this, but you all that are here, thank you so much for tuning in. But Queen's Throne, do you see? And everyone else, and everyone, check out Queen's Throne. Queen, go ahead and drop your link if you don't mind. Or I shouldn't have said it like that. If you would like to, and I'm sorry, please drop your link so people can check you out, because you had an awesome stream yesterday. You actually had me laughing while I was at work, and up until maybe 2 o'clock in the morning, I had half an eye open. But I want you all, if you can see this, again, November the 5th, 2021. Now, I really want to, and I really, really do want to say that that's a typo. 24 hours. Now, don't get me wrong. I've worked, especially when we had the 9/11 attacks, many hours. I think the most hours I put in for maybe 3 months, between 16 and 18. And at that time, I was essential, so we had no choice. But 24 hours? Thank you. And let me get these comments. Nathan said that white on, is that white or right? I'm sorry. I'm really going to have to get my eyes checked on Stan. He said it was for 24 hours of work and not meant to be that he worked for 1 day. Okay. Cool. Thank you for clarifying that.
24 hours on 1 day. What do you make of that?
I mean, I thought it was astonishing that, you didn't sleep for 24 hours. I've been to trial. I'm sorry. I've been to trial and had to work long hours, but 24 straight. But we did question him about that at the hearing, and he said that that's when it was concluded. So how he explained it was November 5th is when the work was concluded. And so he had done that work up until then, and that he only billed when it was concluded. So he said that the 24 hours who knows when it spanned, but that how he billed was
Would have had to
included.
be between November 3rd and November 5th, though, right? So it had to be on the 4th and the 5th, 12 hours a day?
It had to
At
be.
least.
And, the other thing that I noticed with this is prepared cases for pretrial. At this point, it says anti-corruption unit. His two law partners are the conflict lawyers for the anti-corruption unit. So you've got it's like my husband couldn't represent someone who's adverse to me. Like my husband is my law partner. He can't be doing privilege review on a case I'm prosecuting. So he's consulting on anti-corruption cases for the DA's office, where his two law partners are doing the privilege review at the same time. That plus the 24 hours are the two things that really struck out to me.
So, but the only role he had was this prosecution of this election fraud?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the only role.
Okay, so when it says anti-corruption, that's the corruption we're looking at, election interference?
Yes, he's never worked on any other case.
All right. Let's see.
Your thoughts about that it's only this particular case, not the anti-corruption. Your thoughts so far? Before I continue on with the video, and those that are coming in, please make sure that you hit the like button. Much appreciated. And no one has any comments. Let's continue.
See that other bill there, Senator Dolezal. All right, so here's another one, if you can see that okay. This is the one we put up earlier. It looks to be much more specific date-wise anyway than just, those 24-hour chunks like that. Okay.
Right. It's more specific, but it doesn't say what, like, just for example, team meeting and argument prep. Argument prep for what? Normally when we...
Okay. Hopefully everyone is able to see this on the screen. You'll see another one, and it appears, according to Merchant earlier, that once a particular item is completed, then it'll go ahead and bill. So I'm going to zoom in on, hopefully you can see the little arrow, from April the 10th to April the 14th, 40 hours at $2.50 an hour. It's $10,000. So to me, and this is just to me, this is a lot of billing. And meeting with team research, meeting with OA, team investigation meeting, drafting, travel to interview witnesses, conference with OA, travel, review and file motion. Now, I've reviewed things and filed things, and it didn't take me 8 hours, but I'm not a special prosecutor. So you can see the gist of the billing and what is being billed. And we shall continue.
we do bills, we would say, argue motion to dismiss or argue whatever the motion is. Research, what are you researching? Researching statutory privilege, whatever it is.
Now, this one, he shows date ranges when it's over multiple days. Like down at the bottom, 426 to 427, 18 hours, if I'm reading that right, or 16 hours. But on that previous one, he just has one date, 24 hours.
Yes.
And you say these are approved by FANI Willis. By contract, she has to approve these billings.
Yes, she does.
Okay, as you could hear, these had to be approved by DA FANI Willis. No ands, ifs, or buts. These had to be approved. And we'll continue.
And those are approved by her. So if there were any questions, and as a lawyer, when we submit bills to clients, they regularly question, and I know when I've done appointed work, they regularly question that as well. You have to list exactly what you're in court for, exactly what you're drafting. You can't just say prepared cases. You've got to say, what did you prepare? What did you draft? So, the county, in Cobb County, for example, they make you actually attach motions. If you do like an appeal or something and you're billing for that, you have to actually.
Okay, so right now, it appears that Ashley Merchant is trying to, I'm not going to say undermine, but question the brevity, if you will, or lack of showing what exactly, it appears to me that she may be looking for an itemized list of what's being billed. From my optics, it appears that she may feel that what's being shown on these bills right here is brief, not concise, not thorough enough to go back and check. So let us continue.
Attach it to prove that you did the work. I did go back at the break, though, and I have an answer to one of your questions earlier. I just wanted to clear up. You had asked me when the special purpose grand jury had convened. I looked, the state filed a response. So this is DA Willis's response that was filed on February 2nd. They wrote on
This response to your motion to disqualify?
Yes, sir. Response to my motion. On page 13, they wrote, shortly after his appointment in January 2022, District Attorney Willis petitioned the Chief Judge of the Superior Court to convene the Superior Court judges to consider her request for the special purpose grand jury, to conduct an investigation into the facts and circumstances relating directly or indirectly to the possible attempts to disrupt the lawful administration of the 2020 elections of the state of Georgia. And they attached that exhibit. So you had asked me earlier when she petitioned. So it was, in their own words, shortly after his appointment.
Okay.
Okay.
I saw war. I
Let this ad go through.
saw bombing. I saw shooting.
So this whole, the cases are about attempts to disrupt, because obviously Georgia certified Biden as a winner, and he got inaugurated, that following January, and this is years later we're having this whole investigation.
Yes, attempts. And my client specifically is charged with attempt and conspiracy. So he's not charged with actually doing a specific act. He's charged with conspiring or attempt, depending on which section you're talking about in the charges.
Okay, I'm going to advance this a little bit.
June 1st of 2022.
Okay, so lots of this time was way before he would have been having to question any witnesses or attend grand jury hearings or anything.
Yes, he could not have attended a grand jury hearing until at the earliest May 2nd.
You were talking about the experience and expertise of the three outside, I'm gonna call them outside counsel, because they were not direct employees of the DA's office.
Correct.
Had Mr. Wade ever tried a felony case, prosecuted a felony case before this?
Okay, this question has been asked many, many times as it relates to the actual experience of Nathan Wade. And this is what they'll tackle next.
Your knowledge?
No, that he has never prosecuted a felony case. And I asked his law partner that, who had been his law partner for some time, that he had never prosecuted that. I also did some independent research in the metro areas where I knew that he had worked in Cobb County. So I looked to see if he had ever been filed as a prosecutor in Cobb County for felonies. And he was actually just a solicitor, and solicitors is, because you said not everybody may understand the difference between solicitors and district attorneys.
We've got an ex-solicitor on this panel, so don't say anything negative about him.
So he can tell you all about it.
They prosecute misdemeanors only, right?
Yes, and in
Okay.
Cobb County specifically, they prosecute misdemeanors, yes.
Okay. It looks like he's pretty much hitting the maximum that he was allowed to under his contract.
Yes,
Okay, we're going to go into the cap, if you will, and the billing and money received by Nathan Wade. Let us continue.
this month he did.
Okay. And this is through that block billing that was not specifically itemized exactly what he was doing or how much time on each task?
Always block billed. He never itemized bills, never was specific.
What were the
Okay, that might be key. Never itemized. And as I mentioned earlier, it's funny that word was used again. And that is what my thought was, because I didn't even see this portion. There may be an attempt to hone in on the billing and what work was actually done, and not only that, but what work that can be proven that was done. So let us continue. And your thoughts, again, for those of you that are still here, comments are welcome.
The caps for the other two special counsel, were they also limited? I assume you've received their contracts, or did they have a written contract?
They did. So they had written contracts, and I do have those, and they did have caps. They were significantly lower than Mr. Wade's. They do not currently have contracts, and I just found that out at a hearing because we had asked for that. We had asked for it in open records, and then I had subpoenaed it as well. Pretty much every subpoena I filed for the hearing, the state filed a motion to quash, including this one. And Ms. Cross was at the hearing, and she said, I can just tell you right now I don't have a contract. So I had thought, I was under the impression that they just weren't giving me that contract. I had no idea that they just didn't have one. So apparently right now, Mr. Floyd and Ms. Cross don't have contracts.
Do you think that was intentional so that they don't have to disclose how much they're earning?
I think it was sloppy.
Okay. Does Mr. Wade?
Okay, you heard that. Your thoughts. The question was, do you think it was intentional? Ashley Merchant says she believes it was just sloppy. Again, your thoughts are welcome in the comment section, and I will be completing this shortly. I'll drop the link again if anyone would like to come up and share your thoughts or opinions on what you've seen thus far. Again, this has been brief because this is 5 hours, and I'm not going over 5 hours of this video. So thank you to those that have stopped by, and we'll continue.
Wade have a current contract?
Yes, he does. I also think it may have been, I don't know if it's disclosure, but I can tell you that they've changed, since I started looking at this, they've changed what they put on the public documents. I used to be able to go to Open Checkbook and see every time he would get a check, and since I filed this, none of them have come up. So I don't know if he's not being paid anymore, or if he hasn't filed any invoices, but the invoices are due, I believe, 30 days after. So, they were.
And that is correct. Normally, at least in my experience, for invoices, it's usually net 30. I've seen some net 45, but usually 30. Let's continue.
Regularly came up, but now all of a sudden they don't.
Okay. So eventually you sought to disqualify Ms. Willis from serving as counsel and prosecuting Mr. Roman's case.
I did.
Okay. Can you pull up that motion? That motion was filed here in January, I think it was January 8th of 2024.
Yes.
What was your motion to disqualify based on?
It was.
Okay, she's going to go over her justification and reasoning for the disqualification request.
It's based on a number of things, but it was based on mostly the fact that Miss Willis and Mr. Wade had a romantic relationship, and they had been traveling, and he had been paying for a lot of that travel. So there were a couple different things. She had not followed the statute. So the statute I referenced earlier, 15-18-20, said that you had to have county approval. She didn't have that. So that was one thing. There were also.
You had figured that.
Okay, that may be key. According to Ms. Merchant, there was no county approval, and according to Ms. Merchant, that was needed. Let us continue.
That out through your financial records?
Yes, I had figured that out through my financial records, through open records, through reviewing all the Board of County Commissioners. And I actually, to that motion, I attached, just on this issue, I actually attached a document showing how independent special counsel would normally be appointed. I'm sorry, special counsel, because I found one where, and I think it's exhibit, let's see. It's exhibit J. I found one where Fulton County had actually been asked to approve a line item for an independent contractor agreement. And so this, I used it as an example of what normally would happen.
Was that for an attorney?
It was for an attorney.
So she's saying in pleadings now that she's not required to get county approval, but in the past, for people other than Wade, she had gotten approval?
This is actually the county attorney. So
Okay.
this document is the county attorney. I do not believe she's ever gotten approval for anybody. And her filing said she's doesn't. I mean, her filing. I at the break I was looking at it. I mean, she said that. That I incorrectly contend that the appointment exercised by, and in, parentheses, a state constitutional officer must be followed by an approval of the local government's Board of Commissioners. And, she says over and over again that I'm just wrong, that she doesn't have to because she's a state constitutional officer. So that was their position, that she doesn't have to.
So is that one of the grounds for your motion to disqualify these, let's just call them financial irregularities, that she had not complied with the state law or county policy of getting prior approval?
Yes, that was one of the primary bases. But then I also reviewed case law and saw, the conflict of interest. And, our motion, the theory, basically just to sum up the motion, is that essentially he's getting paid all of this money and they're not going through the proper procedures. And I go through it in the motion.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. And as you could hear Ashley Merchant say that all of this money without proper, okay, I'm just getting ready to freeze up a little bit, without the proper authority. So that's my conclusion for the video. As I said, it is 5 hours, but I'm going to drop this in the event anyone would like to come up and speak on what you've heard thus far, what you think about this. I'm just going to call it a debacle right now, and your thoughts on what the end result may be. Will she stay? Will she and her team stay, or will they be perhaps a disqualification? Hey there, Anita, how are you? Happy Wednesday to you. And Queen's Throne says, she just said Nathan paid for travel. So now she's saying Nathan paid for FANI. It is a mess. And that is why I said it is a 5-hour stream. And I'm sure there are recess periods in there as well. But I'm just going to stop at that. But you could see where, again, from my optics, it appears that they're honing in on bills, money being spent if it were proper, and things of that nature. And again, one of the things that they highlighted, and I'm assuming that it was cleared up, was the 24 hours. So definitely, I believe there are going to be more questions that may be able to be answered as to how things were built. And again, being more precise on the work that was being done, and more importantly, being able to prove that, because normally most lawyers that I know, and this is just me, when you're billing, you have copies of everything, sometimes timestamps, and you're very, very precise as to what work you have done, because you have some people out there who are quick to go to the Attorney Grievance Commission. And who's to say that because Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade did not, per ethics, mention anything about their relationship? And again, I really don't care about that, to be honest. But who's to say there aren't ongoing ethics cases or inquiries because of this non-disclosure already? So I will leave that link there for about 5 more minutes, which will be 9:30, and I will close this live out. Everyone that's coming, please make sure you thumbs up this video, and those that may catch the replay, please do the same and leave any comments you may have on this video and any other videos in the comment section, because I will be watching them and responding if needed. So again, about 5 more minutes. Thank you, Queen. I appreciate it. Normally I'm a little bit more bubbly, but I'm bubbled out. But for those of you that like to just hang out in the chat, that's fine. So again, how many of you all think that she'll get a reprieve and stay on the case? And when I say she, I mean she and her team. That way I don't put anyone on the spot. If you think that she and her team will stay on this case, please place a number 1 in the chat. If you think at the conclusion and when Judge McAfee renders his decision, will it be a disqualification? If you believe that, please put a 2 in the chat. That should take up a few minutes. Oh, okay, so Queen's Throne says 2. And your reasons why? Or reason why, doesn't have to be lengthy. This is, to me, from what I've seen, it's just, it's a mess. It's a mess. Denise Stewart, oh, Denise also, and I don't know if I spoke to you earlier or not. Denise, I believe I did, maybe not. I am so sorry. I was sharing a screen at the time, and when StreamYard is acting kosher, I have to get it while the getting's good. So welcome, Denise, and I'm sorry. Hey there, D-Shep, how are you? We're just thinking briefly about this Georgia Senate committee hearing with Trump's co-defendant's lawyer, Ashley Merchant, and the discovery that not only did Fulton County's DA, FANI Willis, but the mayor of Atlanta both traveled to Washington, D.C. D.C. is in the house. D.C. is in the house. That's probably about the only time you hear me repping D.C. like that. But apparently met with VP Kamala Harris. And Queen's Throne says, I think it's clear that they have corruption going on with Fani and Nathan. I'm confident the judge can see it too. I agree, but sometimes, and this is just me, and I'm a little bit eccentric, there have been times that I have felt that this judge has been, I don't want to say lenient, some may say biased. There have been some that have used some choice words, which I will not do, but with everything that has come out, and if Cindy Yeager, who may be subpoenaed because of an alleged phone call, and that is the DA that I did have the pleasure to speak to for at least 60 seconds, who did confirm to me that she may be subpoenaed. And I showed the filing the other day on a short live. It was a 4-page document, but if she is subpoenaed, and if what was in that filing had any credence, that truly, in my opinion, could be a huge hiccup. And Queen Throne says, I agree. He does seem to cater to Fani on the other hand. And as I mentioned, allegedly, there has been speculation that he meaning Judge McAfee and his wife donated to her campaign. So again, those are allegations, and you'll hear me often say allegedly or allegations just to be prudent and responsible, because as humans, we get things mixed up. Sometimes what we read, even what lawyers may say, may not always be accurate. So you have to be careful with that. So it is now 9:30, and Denise Stewart says, yes, he did donate to her. So there you have it. And I've seen this many, many times. So to me, I'm just going to say this. I think he should have recused himself, but that's Georgia. And as we here and those from abroad, there's a lot going on in the state of Georgia. And this is going to be, no matter how it ends, to be honest, ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to be a pretty stain at all. Hey there, Daddy Tutor. How are you? Welcome. So again, it is now 9:31, and I am going to close this out. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for continuing to protect the integrity of this platform and not having any trolls or any crazy remarks, so that people can remain feeling safe when they come here. So thank you so much for that. And good night to everyone. And thank you, Daddy. And thank you to everyone that joined. And again, to those who may catch the replay, enjoy your night. Please, everyone, be safe, be well, and know the rest. Be healthier. Thank you, Queen Strong, for the 2 purple hearts. You know that's my favorite color, and it also represents being a lupus warrior. You're welcome, Denise Stewart. And Daddy says, I'm from Indonesia. Well, Indonesia's in the house. And thank you. All right, everyone. You all take care, and until the next video, good night. Oh, that was my mother's too. Okay, now I'm gone for real. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye for now.